All right. Hi there, Melissa. How are you today?
I am grounded at this moment, so that's a
Oh,
plus.
that is a plus. That is a plus. Welcome back to Two Women Healing Out Loud for anybody who's joined us today. Melissa and I have taken a little bit of time off. Just kind of, lots of stuff changes going on in our life. What was going on with you, Melissa?
Hmm. Lots of changes going on, like with just reevaluating different things in my life and just kind
Mm-hmm.
of trying to kind of let go of certain things and then move into a whole different arena.
I love that. I love that. And actually, I think this year, isn't this a year of like the fire horse or something? And it's like we're supposed to be just dropping everything from the past and getting ready to just start a whole new. I don't know. A lot of people aren't into that, but I definitely am. So I
Well,
remember reading something about it.
I think it's very helpful to kind of just, do some inquiry with yourself. And,
Yes.
there's different practices and techniques that you and I've used and we
Mhm.
can help others with. And I think it's just just asking what's going on for yourself in the moment, periodically throughout the day.
Yes. And you know what? You were bringing up earlier something that maybe we can kind of talk about, but about how we communicate with our loved ones. I think that is actually a really important topic that probably would apply to everybody.
Mm. Well, there's just the whole, when the way that you were in womb and then beginning life and then who was around you and how did they communicate
You went
and
right back to the beginning, didn't you?
I
All,
went
and that's
way
because that's
back.
where it starts. It actually starts when you're being formed in the womb. How
Yeah,
we the things we were hearing going on around us, the emotional and mental, physical state of your mom, all of those things actually played a part
big
in
part.
how we were formed.
Yeah, I think it's really gosh, it's important also just like to pay attention to what was and what is, and then maybe just looking at what things are, what ways are you communicating that might not be clear and loving towards others, and be kind with yourself about that. Like so, like just being aware. Like earlier, something happened with my significant partner and I, and had it been stated a certain way, like I counted 5 words, that is all I needed. It would have taken care of the 8 to 10 minutes of going in circles and getting more upset, and then feeling like there was anger and then feeling bad, and like, it's like it brings me back to childhood where, oh, I can't be angry or we can't be upset, or put the smile on it and just buck up. And that kind of goes with that question I was talking to you about earlier. How often do we hold on to stuff until we have the time and energy to deal with it?
Yeah, and I'll just repeat my response here because the truth is, when you asked that question, it was like, gosh, I think everybody does. I mean, we weren't given a manual when we were born saying, here, this is the way to handle life. This is the way to handle things that are thrown your way. No, it was okay. We just have to kind of keep going from the moment you're born, your first breath till you take your last breath. It's just forward momentum. You just got to keep going.
And you just keep hearing, like when you're really little, you just keep hearing the word no. I think I heard that so much that that was just the way people talked.
What did
No
that do to you as a
was,
child? Do you remember?
I think it shut me down a little bit, and that's kind
Mhm.
of why I escaped out in the trees, and we've talked about it a few times, and being quiet with the wind, or putting my toes in the creeks and letting the pollywogs float through my
Mhm.
toes or whatever.
Mhm.
Right? I just was. Some people might say it's checking out, but I'm like it's checking in with me.
Mm. You know what? I think that we kind of need to sit with that for a second because what you just said is some people might call that checking out, but it's really kind of coming home to yourself, checking in with you. And you know what happens, I think, in life? This is strictly opinion, and just some things I've read throughout life, but I feel like we get so caught up in the next thing that we forget that. hey, I'm here to experience life. I'm here to go sit by the river. I'm here to go enjoy the landscape. I'm here to just be and just enjoy because we're kind of like taught from the moment we start growing up and the people around us start to form us that you have to do, you have to accomplish, you have to go out and drive and just continue to push. And I
Yeah,
think
it's
what you
just,
just said is so valuable.
uh, if we can, I mean, I could sit with that and just think about what you just said.
Mm.
Wow. I mean, how many people are actually aware of their breath?
I didn't think about mine today until you just said it, because it's just part of natural existence and we don't think about it. And it's so funny you said when you were a little kid, you used to go out into the grass or by the trees or by the lake. Um, my parents were in the military, so we were moving so often, like every year and a half, every two, sometimes 4 years, it depends. But in Hawaii was probably the most free, maybe Japan and Hawaii. Those were when I was about 5, 6, 7, 8, right in there was the most free I really ever was. But also, that's probably where a lot of the most indoctrination happened to me, the programming,
Mm,
um, and a lot of the harmful behaviors. But just talking about when I used to take off and go out, no shoes, just take off and go out into the grass and the big, huge back. In Hawaii, we had this huge mango tree.
mm.
I didn't realize the value of that tree until I became older and realized and how expensive mangoes are. But
And
they
how
used to have them
delicious.
everywhere.
And how delicious they are.
They were so good. And I used to go out there and climb trees all the time. Oh, I was just a little monkey, always climbing trees. If I'd forget my key, because I was a latchkey kid, if I'd forget my key or lose it somewhere, which happened literally 5 times a week, um, I would have to climb up on top of the house because we lived in base housing, and I would have to climb up to the second floor and across the roof and over to my window. And I don't even know how I knew how to do all this stuff. I just did it. It's so weird. And then I reversed because in Hawaii, they have these glass slats that go across that you can kind of open the slats and you still
Okay.
have your screen on, but you open the slats all at once or close them. And
Yeah.
I'd have to take those out one by one, push in my screen, crawl in and crawl back down, crawl back up, go put it all back together, and then go back in. And I would hide that from my parents because I knew I'd get in trouble for losing my key.
Oh, look at you. You were a little experiencer, just like me. Yeah. And
Yes.
it makes you kind of look back and go, there are different reasons why we stepped out of that house and stepped out of that
Hmm.
home situation. And it's
Coming
interesting.
back to that, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
Please
no, no,
continue.
no, go
Coming
ahead.
back to your question, though,
Yeah.
it's like, how often in life do we carry everything until you find a little crack in life, a little bitty moment? You're like, oh, I need to breathe. Or life does it to you. You end up with something, some kind of illness or some kind of catastrophic event that says, sit down and deal with something. You're getting a timeout from life.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that was
Mm-hmm.
my surgeries. It's like, yo, you got a couple of years now. You're going to go sit and just sit,
And
process.
that's you get to sit and process even when you may not want to.
Hmm.
But it definitely is giving you an opportunity to listen
Yes.
and breathe.
Yes. Or get addicted to Netflix. That was probably a
Or
big
that.
a big
Yeah.
part. It happened in the beginning, but we're getting much better with that now.
Or eating for me, like I was really craving peanut butter cookies today. Like just like the real ones, not the ones that have sugary. Because like how you
Mm.
eat some baked goods and that you could taste sugar, but you can't taste the flavor.
Oh, absolutely. Most of the candy out there.
Yeah, and so I just love the homemade.
Did you make
Just
any?
no, but my husband makes really good recipes. It's homemade. It takes a while. He puts butter in with the peanut butter.
Well, you might have to go be sweet to him and be like, some peanut butter cookies sure sound nice.
Oh, it's interesting because when you think about every single moment of your life, you're really using language, and you're really using these techniques to communicate. I mean, you think about when we were really little and we started the first word, and then you move it into like a sentence, and then you move in. So, I mean, then it moves into all these stories about us, and all these stories people gave us, and all the stories we put on people. And how did it get to be so just, a little thing at a time? And I mean, I feel like I have my training wheels back on sometimes. Put those training wheels back on.
Something you just said really kind of almost dissociated me really for a second because you said all the
Mm,
things we put on people. And
mm,
that took me like literally out of this dimension just for a second to when I started having my spiritual awakening. I think it was kind of, there's almost this pre-spiritual awakening before the big catastrophic situation I went through. And I remember this was back when I was still using substances. And I was sitting with my friend, and I mean, I had been using substances for a couple of days, probably a little sleep deprived, but I've been using them my whole life, honestly. And I never had some of these mystical experiences.
mm,
And I remember we were sitting there and she was really quiet. And I saw this little black cloud come out of her ear, maybe about this big, you know, and
mm.
it just floated around the front of her face. And I go, "What is that?" And it just went right up into her nose, came back in. And I go, what was that? And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I just saw something black come out of your face or out of your ear." And she was like, "I don't know." And so, and it didn't even really freak her out because she kind of was into all the woo woo stuff anyway. So
Mm.
I didn't really even think freak her out. And then we kind of talked for a little bit, got quiet again. And I looked over and I saw these little black clouds, almost clouds about this big,
Yeah.
floating out of her ears. And they'd start to float off. And I'd be like, "There it is again." And then it'd come right back to her. Lo and
Whoa.
behold, about 8 years later, when I was having my big spiritual awakening, I had watched a video of a lady who had a near death experience and went and spoke to, I don't remember if she said it was God or Jesus. Or I don't really think it was. I just think she was like speaking to somebody. And she didn't, it was like this just infinite divine source, you know what I mean, that she was talking
Sure.
to. And she said she was forced to experience all the feelings she had given to other people. And
Mm.
like she kind of had this little life review, right? And there was this one lady that she was mad at. She was in the emergency room at one point in time, and it was a nurse, and the nurse wasn't helping her the way she should have. So she kind of like really got mad at her and was like really telling her off. And so then she left, and she was able to see the effect that her words and everything had on that woman. And even later, she got
Mm.
to see how the lady kind of was up against the wall and kind of slid down and was, holding her legs like off in the closet or something. She like took a break.
Mm.
And he, whatever our divine source creator was
Whatever.
showing her how all these black
Huh.
clouds were sticking to her and weighing her down. And she couldn't see them because this is more in the spiritual realm. But it was all of the words that and the mean things and the mean thoughts that that one lady was thinking about her were
Mm.
adding on to all the ones she was already dealing with.
Oh.
And that hit me hard one day because I was like, "Oh my God, my friend must have been thinking bad thoughts about somebody or something at that moment." And then when I would say, "What is it?" It would go back into her because she stopped thinking about it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Whoa.
that just,
That
I mean,
that's pretty incredible. So
but
that
coming back, yeah, go ahead.
coming back to what we have said,
Hmm.
the words that have come out of our mouths,
Hmm.
the words that we've shared to ourselves.
Hmm.
And this is where I see forgiveness being really important.
It
Maybe
is, and
not
I'm struggling so
so.
hard with some of that. But yes, you're
Oh,
right.
and again, it's just like just becoming aware and then being open to, hmm, what is that about? I just think that helped me quite a bit because for so long I was just like, what is, why did I say that? Or they made me so mad. And I'm like, there's no excuse. I know this after doing all this work for so long that, yelling at someone because you're upset doesn't help.
Have you ever heard of parts work?
Yes.
I'm doing parts work right now with my therapist,
Okay.
and
Very
it's really
interesting.
crazy when you just said, why did I just say that? That's because, in my opinion, there are different parts of us who sometimes step forward. And I'm not talking about multiple personality disorder. Parts work is something that is believed that we all have many parts. They call them
Mm-hmm.
fractals. We each have, up to like 100, sometimes more, different archetypes, different fractals,
Very
And
much. Yeah.
sometimes she'll like address mine, and I'll kind of feel this presence, and then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it comes forward and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm really learning that, when we like, so maybe something comes out and you're like, "God, why did I say that? I didn't, yeah, maybe I kind of meant some of that, but that's not how I like to present myself. That's not how I like to communicate with people." In my opinion, it's because we still have wounded parts,
Yeah,
and we
because
still have.
yeah,
Mhm.
oh, go ahead. You're so
No.
right because it took me back to
Mhm.
without me really realizing it in that moment, but it took me a few seconds. I'm like, that is so related to when blah 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 when I was a
Mhm.
kid. And
Mhm.
then I go through the process of forgiveness with myself, and then I start, for me, processing the parts. I start really getting back in my body. So I either start listening to music, really like I started off with Metallica, and then I went from Metallica to I went yacht music to R&B classics, and it took me through, and then I was dancing and I was vacuum cleaning and I was dusting and I was processing all that, and it felt so peaceful because now on the other side of it, I can see very clearly
Mhm.
why I said and how, what I said and how I acted.
And I think it's really interesting how you started off with Metallica because, so frequency wise, when we're
That's
talking
right.
on the metaphysical side of things here, okay, and what music and words and programming, the frequencies they hold, Metallica is a lot of anger. It's a
Yeah.
lot of anger and not being heard and rage.
Yeah.
And so then you go
Two
from
songs.
that and you're right. And then you're going to a different form of music. And it's funny because I was
Yes.
listening to something once on YouTube. I
Absolutely.
wish I could tell you what it was, but they were talking about how music has changed throughout the times. And, then it came up on the hardcore rap, how we got to this part where rap is so prevalent among the African American community. And the thing I was listening to, now I'm just telling you what I was listening to, okay? It said that a lot of that is because through epigenetics, they were expressing the anger and rage from, what their culture, what their race went through. And it's kind of the same thing with Metallica, if you think about it. It's like that came from children being told they're going to do this. And finally, the next generation of kids were like, we're not going to take it anymore.
That's right. And it's fascinating because, you're like, oh, aren't you Buddhist? I'm like, well, not practicing Buddhist, but this is the thing that I used to kind of go, when I was teaching and I had my friend, she was next door and she said, I knew in the morning what mood you were in, what kind of music you were listening to.
Wow, that is a very aware friend because the truth is, I stopped listening to music a long time ago. I used to really love music and I stopped. And if you can view somebody's mood by the music they're listening to and really be that in tune with them, number one, you're very aware. But number two, music holds frequency. And so for
Yes.
me, when I'm in a sad mood and I'm hearing sad music that makes me cry or reminds me of sadder times throughout my life, it's holding a frequency memory for me, and I can feel it in my body.
I can definitely feel it in my body too. And
Mhm.
that's why I was moving through it. And it was interesting because it would be longer before, like way, way long time ago when I was really
Mhm.
into the hard rock. Now I'm into solfeggio, which is very
See?
beautiful.
And it's beautiful and it's healing and they have physical proof, well, not physical proof, scientific evidence that it heals the body, not immediately, but these certain frequencies and certain brain waves. If we get into like the delta and theta, we are going into deep sleep, and that's where the healing happens. It's also where we can connect to nether regions. We'll just put it that way,
Yeah,
other
no,
other
other.
realms. But mhm, yeah, I think that's so interesting. I should start listening to music again. Maybe that's
Oh,
something I'll get myself for Christmas is a nice stereo system.
good
I
idea.
go
I
to a
haven't.
pawn shop and buy myself a good stereo system.
Well, I have
Yeah.
this one right here. It's a cute little Sony. It's about this big. It's a little box set, and my hubby got that for me for my birthday a few years ago.
Well,
About
get
like
it
that.
out and start using it.
Well, I do, but I just I have like 100 discs over there, and it's interesting to go from because I notice when I do that hard rock, it really gets me down. Like it really gets me dancing and moving around and scrubbing and like scrubbing the
Mm-hmm.
toilet and cleaning
Mm-hmm.
the mirror, ooh,
Yep.
vacuuming,
Yep.
so I would say there's some definite benefit because when you are from when I'm getting in a place of wanting to process, and that comes up with the second part of the question is how do we process what comes up for us?
Mhm.
That's
And
important.
that's something I talk to people I coach every single day. It's like, what are you doing to get through the stressful moments in your life now that you're in recovery or now that you're trying to take your power back from, the life where you felt powerless? And the truth is, processing music is important, moving the body, all of these things so important.
And watching your thoughts, and then is it creating more agony? I mean, where are your thoughts taking you? Is it taking you to a more calm kind of collective
Mhm.
place, or is it really messing with you and making things worse? Is it
And you said something earlier, you practice Buddhism or whatever. Does that mean you're not allowed to be human and experience life? I mean, I don't think so. I think in my opinion, Buddhism is a belief and a practice and a way of living where you try to bring no harm to others
mm,
and you try to walk in love at all times. Um, just
yeah,
like
similar to Jesus?
exactly, exactly. And not to get too, into religion or anything, but the things that we were taught, no matter what religion you're in or what
Mm,
spiritual belief you have, generally there's a core value of love and acceptance and unity and being connected with everybody else in the world. And I just think, including myself, a lot of us are kind of getting away from some of that if we're not careful. We have to.
mm,
Does it matter if you're Christian? Does it matter if you're Buddhist? Does it matter or does it
mm.
matter if you're just walking in love, and speaking in love and
Well, yeah, and that was the little talent. I mean, that's what made me so different from the beginning was being raised in that spiritual town of about 80 people and knowing that the main goal and the main value of living in that kind of community was treating each other the way you would want to be treated.
Mhm.
That was the main one of the main purposes of us living in that intentional community was to practice and live amongst each other where we're all doing this together
And
and
what
separately.
happened? What happened? Because it,
Mm,
I feel like even when I went into Christianity in the very beginning, it was all about love and treating people like you wanted to be treated. And I had
hmm
such a big wake up at that time, but then I don't know what happened to me. Maybe just something within me. It's like I became very persecutory after a while. And I just
yeah.
caught myself judging everybody and they're going to hell and they're going to hell. And, I just started, you can't use crystals and all of these things. And I don't know
Mm.
what happened because it started off so beautiful in love and forgiveness. And then it just turned.
Well, we can reclaim. I'm big on reclaiming what was
Absolutely.
lost, and what
Absolutely.
was lost wasn't just in translation, but it was lost in experiences of life as
Hmm.
a human being, of the doing and the paying the bills and all of this, and not giving us enough time in the day to really be in play.
Hmm.
And dance, you don't have to wait for some big event to happen to do that. You can orchestrate it, and you can, put that in your calendar, like 60
Hmm.
minutes a day. I mean, you can even break it up, right? This is me time. This is my self-loving, self-care time.
And that's one of the things that my therapist is working with me on really. She's like, Dawn, are you doing the things that used to work for you? And I was like, no,
Yeah.
I've kind of slipped away from them again. I just went through in the last 3 years, I've gone through three surgeries, two of them very major surgeries, the most painful surgeries there are. And
Mm.
is it 3 years? Yeah. And I caught myself kind of slipping away from those because you know what happened? It's like when you're walking around the outside of a pool, beautiful sunny day, and you're in control. And then all of a sudden somebody tosses you in, but you don't know how to swim. And
Mm.
so, but nobody's throwing you a life rat or life ring, and nobody's
Mm.
jumping in to help you, and you're panicking and you're trying to come up for air, and all you can do is in that moment, that's the only thing you can think about is surviving. You don't care that it's sunny out. You don't care that it's a beautiful day. You don't care about any of that. And that's kind of just what happened to me. And it really took me away from the practices that my meditation. And so now I'm getting up every morning a little bit early and I'm spending 20 minutes in meditation. Again, it's not as much as I used to do or I like to do, but I'm starting to notice a difference again, little by little.
Little by little, and it's inch by inch, and like the little inchworm, and you look at that little inchworm, it's just, just it's moving forward, but it doesn't seem like it. But just if you pay, just giving yourself a break is a big one. When
Mhm.
people start getting very busy, and maybe they feel like they don't have time to meditate on the toilet when you're going to the bathroom,
Well, not only that, I mean,
shower.
it still comes back to what you're talking about. Are we carrying all this weight? Are we carrying all these feelings, all these thoughts, all these, it's almost like every time something happens when we could have or should have spoke up for ourselves or handled something differently. So then maybe there's even a little bit of internalized shame. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have
Mm.
said that. It's like we're picking up another rock and we're putting it in our pocket or, it's all this weight. When are we making time to just unload some of that?
And just be positive. I mean,
Hmm.
because the hardwiring is there.
Hmm.
It does take quite an effort, and until, even if you practice and because you've been practicing it for so long, it still takes effort to, just like for me, to just not watch certain shows, and just not even put my energy in that field, because I don't want to absorb it. It hurts my heart. Or so again, we've talked about it before, but it's like, what are we spending our time doing? Like, so look at the activities.
I think though,
Whoa, some of
while
those
all of,
activities might not be very loving to ourselves.
oh gosh, not at all. And I think one of the one of the things we can't overlook though is that, you can lead a horse to water. We can have all of these tools out in front of us. If
Right.
we're not ready or even wanting to start using them, they're all kind of just sitting there being wasted because,
Mm,
I don't think everybody wants to heal. Let me tell you something. When I very first started on my recovery journey and after
yeah.
my big spiritual awakening, I would do readings for people. And then I started getting into coaching. And then I
Mm,
was like, I would offer free coaching because in my heart, I was like, gosh, I was in such a dark place. I wish somebody would have given me free coaching. So I started offering that.
mm,
And people say they want to heal, but when it comes to it, it's almost like these blocks start to come up because they wouldn't show
mm.
up for free coaching programs, for free readings. They wouldn't show up. And then when I started charging, people would show up. Well, what I learned is it's the motivation behind it. You can offer somebody everything in the world. And if they don't want it bad enough, if they don't have to invest or put some effort in themselves, are they going to
That's
do any of it?
effort in themselves. Maybe they don't know what effort in themselves means.
Mm.
Mm, what is efforts? That's just that interesting word, looking at efforts. What is effort?
Effort in self. Kind of
Effort
like,
in self.
kind of like
This, mm,
when I decide I need to start becoming devoted to the things in myself that I have um, laid by the side for other people because I was putting so much of myself into other people and helping other people and making sure other people were taken care of, that Dawn just started withering away, you know?
hmm And you are talking about a lot of people.
Mhm.
Not to minimize your experience with it, but it is, many, many people go through that.
Mhm.
And
And
then
that's the point.
that's the point. And then so if you want to, move to the other side, or you want to get through the discomfort, you want to check out the contents of what the mind is telling you in the moment that you're in, doing that scale, 0 to 10 scale. Is it challenging, or is it 0 to 10, positive? Then you can do something with it. And so many people just kind of start just piling more negativity on whatever that original thing was. And then like 2 or 3 days later, what was the whole, like, I saw this movie the other night, and it was so interesting. It was in Italy, and the she owned a cafe, and he ran real estate, and they were one why they don't know what the original idea or argument was, but they had been for like, I think, 30 years.
Wasn't that when Harry met Sally?
No,
No,
this was
I
like a
think I did watch that one too, though. Whichever one you're saying, it was like a little French cafe or something. Was
it
it?
was actually, it was a Hallmark movie. I I don't I don't watch very much TV, but when I watch it, it's like, no blood and guts. But I just saying, it was interesting because it was 30 something years, and then finally it took some foreigner American lady came in and bought property, and all the way it made things shift a little bit, like the mobile, like she came in and then it started shifting, and it took all these experiences, and at the end, almost at the end of the movie, they're like, what was the he's like, by the way, what was it that started this?
They didn't
They
even
had
remember what they
and
were
they had
fighting
no
about.
idea what they were fighting about for 32 years. Oh my
That's
goodness.
crazy. You know, and it just reminds me of War of the Roses. And I think there was another one I just watched recently that was kind of similar to a War of
Mm,
the Roses, kind of an updated one, but and
hmm,
they just and it was, oh, what was it? The
mm,
abandoned, I don't remember, but it was like these two women, they had so much hatred towards each other that in the end they just both go out dying when and beating each other up. And it's like this, the
mm,
moral of the story is, are you going to let hate and anger and all of these things we hold as human beings consume us? And I struggle with some of that. I just have to be honest. I'm a great coach, but I still have my own personal life over here, and I really struggle with, just went to my granddaughter's birthday party, and my daughters wanted her father to be there, and I was like, I can't do it. And she's like, Mom, it's been so long, are you ever going to get over this? And I'm like, I wish I could tell you. I'm open to getting over it. I'm open to healing. I'm open to forgive. And the truth is, actually, I do feel like I forgave him.
mm.
What It's just like the wound isn't it's like you fall down and you scrape your knee. Well, you can get back up. That's forgiveness. I got back up,
But it's a
but
wound
the wound is still there. And
that's
now
still
maybe I'm
there.
limping the rest of my life. I don't know, but there's a wound there. And
Mm,
and sometimes it scars over and it keloids and there's a big scar. I mean, sometimes you caused other damage in that area. You can do other damage to the knee. And so then you're dealing with that the rest of your life. So if you relate that back to the wound, it's like the wound that happened, I don't know. I wish it would hurry up and heal. I I don't know. I'm trying to work through it. I told my
well,
I told my therapist we have a year because we have birthday party again in a year. I need to be healed.
I have to say though, there are some people in our lives, and we've both learned this in recovery meetings, that you can, as you protecting yourself and your sanctity and in your energetic field, etc. Right? There are just certain people that I just won't be around. ever
And,
again.
and that's where I'm sharing this not to like, make it all about me. It's just the whole point. And how long are we going
Yeah,
to carry things? Because,
right.
hopefully anybody watching this can kind of think about things they're carrying. Because for me, I do feel like I forgave him, but that wound is still with me. And that wound is what comes up and says, no, you do not have to be around that person ever again. That will make you uncomfortable. You have self care. You take care of yourself now. And that includes not putting yourself in situations that make you feel uncomfortable.
See, and that you're worth it. You matter. This is you matter. That's I mean, you've heard me say that. I write it and I say it to
Hmm.
myself. I matter. It's
Hmm.
not a selfish, egotistical thing. It's taking care of ourselves and just really paying attention. Is that person gonna complement my life or complicate my life? Hmm.
And so the thing is that in that particular situation, it's like, it's hard because I feel like I'm trying to please my daughter and give her what she wants by us both being there for my granddaughter. But when does pleasing other people trump your own desire to feel safe?
That is significant what you just said. Say that again. That was very important.
When does pleasing other people trump your own desire to feel safe?
Mm. I could sit with that. There are so many examples of life experiences with that.
Mhm.
That kind of feeds into characteristics of a healthy characteristics of healthy belonging. Hmm. Maybe we can talk about that next time.
Absolutely. And I think some things we need to start asking ourselves is, when I'm having these thoughts, when I'm having these moments, whose voice am I listening to? Is it my voice, or am I listening to my stepdad's voice from 20 years ago or 30 years ago? Or am I listening to my ex's voice from 8 years ago? Whose voice am I speaking to? Because my voice now is learning, still in the process, but learning how to speak to myself with love. So if I put on a shirt because I gained weight and I look at myself and I instantly go, oh, you look fat in that. Whose voice is that? That's not my voice.
I'm getting a little hot up here. That's why I was like getting. I could see my everything all red, and it's really important what you're saying because we all have all these people's voices from in our life. Now we might suppress them or maybe just kept them in our bodies and maybe they don't come up very often, but gosh, is it important to pay attention to. You're also really important to your own inner dialogue.
Mhm.
In our brain, there's some people that don't have an inner dialogue. Apparently, I looked at the research on this. I was pretty alarmed. Not alarmed, but I was like, oh, that's really. So some
I've read
people
that too.
just
And I'm
don't.
like, you mean people don't have voices going in their head all the time? They don't.
They
There are
must. It
people
must be
that
a
don't.
permanent vacation or something. I don't know. In your
I
head.
literally have, it slows down. It's been slowing down lately, but I
Yeah.
used to have hundreds of voices.
And
And now, yeah, yeah. And
all
now
competing
it's getting
and
slower.
yeah.
It's fun. Yes, competing. I have literally been in the midst of a situation, and it's like one side of me is like, tear into him, yell at him, scream at him, rah, rah, rah. And then this other part's like, done. You don't need to do that. And sometimes this one wins, and sometimes this one wins, and it's like, but I think the more we do these healing processes and we slow down and we ask ourselves, is this my belief or is this my mom's belief? Is this my voice or is
Mm-hmm.
this my dad's voice? Is
Mm-hmm.
this, and when we're able to do that, maybe we can, I don't know, start to change our behavior so our true aligned self comes out.
I think so too. And then you also remember that they were where they were developmentally,
Mhm.
just like we are
And
at
it's not
any
even,
period, right? A period of time. You were all
that's
in a,
exactly what I was going to follow up with. I'm like, a
yeah.
period of time too, that makes a
It's just,
difference.
I mean, when you think about what was said to us in 1978 versus, 2022 or whatever,
Mhm.
if we're maybe the same person or maybe for, you all of a sudden something might click in your head like, wow, that I'm going to let go of that belief. that's not working for me. That's not a very positive belief. And it's not even my belief to begin with. It's yours.
Mhm.
I'm going to give it back to you.
Yep,
Bless you.
you can
Or,
have it. If that's how you want to believe, that's fine. That's not how I believe anymore.
yeah,
I'm an adult now. I'm free. I'm independent of my parents and my exes, and I get to behave and act as I want to.
yeah. And,
Mhm.
it is going to be it's going to be a different thing for a different day. And, I guess, for the rest of us, it's just doing the best we can with what we have in the moment that we're in.
Mhm.
And, being as kind and thoughtful and, like I have that, recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. I love that rain, the concept of just really just what's going on, allow it. Don't let it take you down and go drink 10 beers or whatever. Don't let, try to have an in between spot where, oh, how can I self soothe in a happy, healthy way for myself?
Mhm.
And come up with your little list and practice that list before you get to that point of, what do I do?
Absolutely. I'm like
Mm,
being convicted over here with all the my I'm what I'm thinking. It was like, oh my gosh, I think of all the Facebook comments I put out over the last 5, 10 years. And I'm thinking
mm,
how they've metamorphosized over the years throughout my healing. But I'm like, oh my God, all the ugliness I put out there that is still out there.
well, and that's the thing. It just kind of stays. I don't know how I actually tried to close it down and get rid of it, and it came back. It just never went away. Facebook never went away. So I just,
Yeah, the internet is forever.
so I that's just kind of like helping everybody realize that we just do the best we can with where we are. And
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not the same person I was even 15 years ago versus even like 2 years ago. So
Yep,
we're metamorphosizing and we're transforming every day if we allow ourselves.
absolutely. I wanted to pull a card. Are you okay with that?
Yeah. Yes. Let's pull a card.
All right, so I'm going to pull a card from the Enchanted Map Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed, and we're just going to see what that brings up for us today.
Hmm.
So, how Oracle cards work, in case anybody doesn't know, it's similar to how tarot cards work. It's like if I say the word blue, Melissa might think of one thing, and I might think of another, and you might think of another because the subconscious has associations to words and memories and things like that. And that's kind of how tarot works, or excuse
Hmm.
me, Oracle, both of them actually. So when you hear the message, it we're all going to like take it into ourselves and apply it to our own experiences. So that's what I love about it because it kind of talks to you individually. So,
Hmm.
all right, you ready?
Hmm.
This is Colette Baron Reed, just to show it to you in case anybody,
Uh-oh. You're
trying
on.
trying
It's
trying to show
blurry.
it to you.
Blurry.
Yeah.
Oh.
The problem with the
That is.
blur
Oh, with a good
effect.
blur. The blur. The blur.
Okay. So we got Bone Collector.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yep, it's the actually card number one too. So let's see. Oh, and here's the there you go. There you go. Now I
Oh,
can
that's
see it.
better. Yeah.
It's
My hair is
Enchanted Map.
in my nose. Huh.
All right, let's read.
There you go.
The Bone Collector. You are whole and have everything you need within. When the Bone Collector appears, she is asking you to look closely at your circumstances to see if you're fully present or reacting out of past conditioning or unconscious expectation. Whenever we're wounded, especially when we're young, it's as if something essential is stolen from us. We adapt and accept a version of the truth that then sets us up to behave a certain way in the future when faced with a situation similar to the original event. I don't know how more perfect this card could be for to our conversation today, but
Perfect.
what we know about ourselves thus becomes influenced by a perception of limitation. You may feel
Mm.
unworthy or without courage. You may see yourself as flawed or unlovable or expect to be criticized. The Bone Collector reminds you that the truth is that you are a powerful being with limitless possibilities. She has kept she has kept safe what was stolen from you in the wounding and is here for you as you reclaim it now. You have everything you believe you lack. And the bone collector is your inner resource. Act as if you have what you need, and you'll find you have it after all. Anything is possible. With awareness, the wounds of the past need not define you. Is that not just everything we talked about? Like, that's how
This
I heard it. I heard that
that
that was literally
that
everything we just
is
talked about.
everything we just talked about. And that awareness piece and that curiosity piece and just being willing to take it out and look at it without going down with it. So often, especially going through, reprogramming trauma, this and that, I wouldn't recommend it by any one person. You definitely want to go to a trained professional.
Mhm,
That's what I did with EMDR. I was with a trained professional, and it
mhm,
really did help because I did go all the way back through, 0 to about 9, 10 years old. And so now it's different for me. So I don't have those pulls. I'm aware of, oh, okay, that reminds me of when I was a kid, but then I don't go into having these anxiety attacks and panic attacks
Well,
anymore. For me personally.
Melissa, when she was a little girl, doesn't step forward and feel unsafe or out of control. So Melissa, as an adult, is able to keep little Melissa safe now. And that's kind of what I'm learning in parts work is that even though we're here now in the present, not going through what we went through 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago for some of us,
Yeah.
um, that version of us doesn't have to be in control. We can reparent ourselves. We can
Mm-hmm.
heal and protect that version of us because according to what I'm learning in parts work, those versions never go away. They're always here. They're just some of them integrate a little bit and allow you
Right.
start trusting you. And so
Yeah.
they're not as prevalent, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And doing that inner childhood, that whole journey is very fascinating to me too.
Hmm.
Going back and claiming your child and doing the
Hmm.
stuff that you weren't allowed or didn't get to do.
Yep.
Very
EMDR
important.
and this practitioner I'm going to, she does EMDR as well, but I
Oh,
told her I
good.
don't want to do that over the internet. I want to wait until I can go in to see her.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
hmm.
and so since I just started this new job, I got to wait for my
Yeah, equilibrium, kind of balance a few things
mhm,
out. You're
mhm.
still healing and all that. So giving yourself a break and giving yourself some food and some water and get some sleep and
So,
take it easy. Take it easy.
oh, is that who is that? That's
Eagles.
Eagles. Eagles. The Eagles and the Bee Gees were my
Yeah.
jam.
Yeah,
Mm,
your jam. And the Bee Gees.
yeah.
You were a disco girl?
I was. I was. I
Did
still
you
am. I still
did you
am.
did you
I
dance like
didn't
John Travolta?
Oh my gosh, I just love the way it makes me feel. It makes me want to move my body. It makes me want to get up and
Boogie.
just you boogie.
Boogie on down.
Yep. Yep. It
All
does. It's
right.
yeah. And that's
Well,
that comes back to that music.
yeah, it comes back
So
to music and then reclaiming your inner child and claiming the
mhm,
child part that eh, we could definitely talk about this another time, but just having to be a parent before you were really ready.
mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. That's a whole nother a whole nother topic for another time.
Well, I think that the bone collector message was really prevalent for me anyway,
For
as
sure.
pretty much everything we're just talking about, and we don't have to let the past define us. So,
Mhm.
and to slow down and just, I don't remember what it just said. It was, what did it say? There was one part there that it said, hold on, let me find it again. Where are we? Where are we? Where are you, bone collector? Before we go. There we go. It said,
Yeah.
um, because remember you said something earlier about you don't have to let those things be stolen from you, or you said, and then here it just says she has kept safe what was stolen from you in the wounding
Mm,
and is here
mhm.
to reclaim it. And you literally just said that earlier. Um, and then it just, yeah, this message was really powerful. I'm gonna have to like read it again when we get off because
Mhm.
it just talks about how those beliefs of who we were when we were children can cause us to behave a certain way as we're adults. So,
Oh, big time. And many people who've never done any of their own inside work are
mhm,
acting out that. and they don't know it.
Yeah.
Maybe you could take a picture of it and text it to me so I can see it and
Yeah,
get
I
it
did. I
too.
will. I will. I'll take a picture and text it to you. Well, I think that we've spent a good 45 minutes, 50 minutes here. And hopefully anybody who's watching this, hopefully you got something from Melissa and I just healing out loud. We just walk through whatever we feel. And um, yeah,
Hmm.
thank you for being here. I hope you join us again.
Yeah, it's nice talking with you and whoever watches. I hope you just, just remind yourself that you are doing your very best in the very moment that you're in.
Mm, yes, grace. Give yourself grace, whatever you're going through.
Mhm.